Hello and welcome. This is Mouse Gunner, and we're back with some more of the Warlock of Firetop Mountain. And I have two ways open to me. I'm going to go ahead and go to the west, because I believe this does hook around, perhaps. All right, you listen at the door and hear angry shouting coming from within. Open the door and investigate. All right, you open the door to a large room. A large chair behind a solid-looking table suggests that someone or something of rank uses this room. In a corner of the room stands a strange-looking orc with a warty face standing over a smaller orc with a whip in his hand. He has been beating his servant, who is whimpering beneath him. A beating, huh? I need to show this orc the side of my blade. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and attack them both. Last time I tried to come to the servant's aid, but this guy, that's not how he is. He's pretty much all for himself, so we're definitely going to attack them both. Alright, so it looks like got to keep an eye on this guy, make sure he's not going to attack me. He is. Now, the guy with the whip, I have no idea what kind of attack he's going to have. I could sidestep, hoping that I dodge here, but I think I'm going to go ahead and just do a normal attack. I'm going to have a roll off, and I rolled really badly, but he rolled the same, and I have better skill, so I win that encounter. I think he's going to move, but he's probably going to move this way or over here. I'm not exactly sure which, but I would like to hit it, so let's attack here on the assumption he moves. There we go. Okay, so this guy's going to attack, but I'm going to go ahead and do my dodge bolt on him. Okay, we're going to have a clash here. I rolled very well, though, so we managed to hit. Now, I think he's going to move either a sidestep or straight forward. I'm going to go ahead and do an attack here on the assumption he's going to sidestep. And there we go. Got him. No damage done. Perfect. You get some souls out of the deal. Alright, the green blood of the dead orcs smells foul as it seeps from their bodies. You step around the corpses and investigate the chest. It is of sturdy construction, made of strong oak and iron. It is firmly locked. Looking closer, your keen eye notices there appears to be a mechanical trap fashioned in the lock itself. Alright, we'll carefully attempt to trigger the trap or leave it and go through the north door. Of course, I'm going to try and trigger the trap. Stepping to the side of the chest, you break open the lock and swing the lid open. Your suspicions were confirmed. A soft click comes from the chest and poisonous dart flies out, harmlessly hitting the wall on the other side. When I was Alexandra, I did get hit by that dart, so it's great to have this guy with keen eye. Now that the chest is safe, you can inspect your prize, inspect the treasure. Leaning in, you look inside the chest to see what was being guarded so carefully. There's a stash of gold pieces, and the label on the bottle shows it to be a potion of invisibility, good for 1 dose. Okay. We take the bottle, of course we'll take it. Take the potion of invisibility, what a find. This will definitely come in handy during your adventure. We also have another bench here. Now, I didn't take that much damage, so I'm probably just going to sit on the bench and just get my 5 health. So we'll sit on the bench and rest. Alright, you sit down on the bench and rest for a moment. Your aching muscles ease, and so on. 5 stamina. Alright, so I'm going to go to the south. As you are about to descend the steps, you hear a commotion in the room below. It sounds like a large number of orcs have entered and are not happy. Perhaps they have realized that they have an intruder and are looking for you. Even I'm not foolish enough to go that way. Quickly move through the north door. Okay, so they've kind of blocked me off and preventing me from going to the south. So we didn't get to go through every door, unfortunately, with the path that we chose. Which, honestly, I don't think there was a way that I could have done that any differently. Okay, you've arrived at another passage. Alright, so last time I went straight northwards. I'm gonna, again, try and explore everywhere I can. Alright, the passageway ends at a solid wooden door with metal hinges. Listening at the door, you hear strange mutterings and the clatter of what could be pots and pans. Whatever is in there, there are several of them. Alright, we'll go through the door. Alright, you open the door into a large room, which must be the orc's dining room. Now, I did disguise myself as an orc. I don't know if that is still a thing. Yeah, orc disguise. So I might be able to get through some of this stuff without too much problem. Okay, so yeah, dining room. All right, sitting, I don't know if I read that or not. You open the door into a large room, which must be the orcs' dining room. Sitting around a large table are 5 orcs busily drinking and dribbling their bowls of rat gizzard soup. All are involved in a rowdy argument as to who will get to chew the rat bones left in the large soup cauldron, so they do not see you enter. No sign of any goblins eating. I wonder if there are any in here. I need to find that jailer. All right, I'm going to go ahead and use the disguise. Why have it if it's going to lower my skill if I'm never going to use it. So we use the disguise to walk past them. Cautiously, you step into the dining room. The orcs are all busy guzzling their vile soup, so hopefully it should be no problem to walk past them. Test your luck. Oh, okay. Yeah, I think, succeeded. There we go. My luck keeps going down, though, every time I test it, I think. Okay. Lucky, you needed a score of 8 or under, and you rolled a score of 4. Make for a convincing orc. So maybe testing my luck too often is a bad thing, I guess. You safely reach the eastern side of the room. 3 doors are nearby, and the way out lies back on the other side of the room. Okay, so you can go east, south, or leave through the west door which you entered. Let's go to the south. Okay, you enter what is quite clearly a storeroom. You spend some time searching the cupboards around the room, but find only crude bowls, plates, and spoons. And then, on a dresser, you find a leather case. This looks like a bow case. Okay, open the case. The case opens easily, and inside you find a magnificent bow and 1 silver arrow. An inscription on the case reads, "The giver of sleep to those who never can." Okay. Well, that's interesting. Will you take the silver bow and arrows? Of course. Put the bow, arrow, and case in your pack and leave the storeroom. We get +1 luck. Well, we needed that. With nothing else of interest in the room, you decide to leave. So this is the kind of thing that I think the exploration really helps, because these items help you get past certain parts of the game. All right, so we're going to go to the east now, and then we'll go north and, so on. Alright, the door opens easily and you enter a humid chamber. The air is thick with the smells of unpleasant things being boiled in the large cauldron that hangs over the fire in the center of the room. Look around the kitchen. On the opposite side of the bubbling cauldron stands an obese orc cook. It is storing what appears to be intestines into the seething broth and does not appear to have spotted you yet. Through all the steam, a goblin is holding jars of spices, eagerly hoping to assist its master in some way. Ah, a goblin! I should press this creature about Rotgut. Okay, ask about Rotgut. As soon as you begin talking and mention the name of Rotgut, the goblin drops the spice jars to the floor. It obviously knows the name. The orc cook's huge belly wobbles as it waddles towards you, ready to chop you into little pieces with the cleaver it is wielding in one hand. It's a goblin apprentice joins in too. Unfortunately, this has not been working out for me as far as getting the goblins to tell me what I want to know, but we're trying. Okay, so let's keep an eye on these guys. Alright, it looks like they're both going to attack me. I'm just going to go ahead and do my dodge bolt here. Oh, unfortunately, the goblin got his attack off first and is probably going to escape. I'm not sure there's a whole lot I can do about that. If he's sidestepping over here, which it more than likely is the case, all I can do is move, but that probably is a bad idea. I guess I could just do... I'll do a normal attack here. Alright, so the goblin's probably going to come back here. So I'm just going to go ahead and attack it normally. Alright, I was wrong. So goblins appear to only sidestep, I would gather. Alright, I'm going to move. Alright. I don't have my dodge bolt, so... looks like I'm gonna have to move here. Alright. I'm gonna use my... ooh, I don't want to use the dodge bolt, I don't think. I didn't pay attention to what he's gonna do. Let's just do a normal attack here. Yeah, only sidesteps. Alright. This guy might move in. I have no guarantee of that, though. But I'm going to try a dodge bolt here. Got him. Alright, so if I'm correct, goblins can only sidestep with the way they move. Usually, the enemy have very consistent rules of movement. So I was fairly certain he was going to sidestep like that. Now, I'm not sure if he's going to attack here or not, because he did wobble. Sometimes it can be confusing whether a wobble is an attack cue or not, but I'll just go ahead and attack. There we go. So I took a little bit of damage. Alright, you've defeated the orc cook. The cook dead, you briefly toy with the idea of tipping it into its own cooking pot. There is nothing in the cook's kitchen that you would even consider eating. We'll tip over the pot. With a mighty kick, you tip over the pot, and the grotesque contents spill out onto the floor. Some of the vile soup begins scalding the bodies of the dead orc and goblin. Unidentifiable ingredients are strewn about on the floor. While somewhat satisfying, your vandalism was fruitless. There's nothing of value in the pot. It was worth a try. And with his keen eye, I was hoping that he would notice something. But we'll go to the north now. The door opens into a chilly larder. Most of the food being stored here is clearly for a more inhumane palate. However, you do find enough pieces of mold-free fruit and not too stale bread to make up 2 meals worth of provisions. Well, that's very useful. Taking a second look through the larder, your keen eye spots a hidden stash of delicious nuts and berries. Obviously, the orcs had no interest in these, but for you, they make up another meal of provisions. Wow, this guy is so far proving very useful. I don't understand how they can eat this other stuff. I'll enjoy these berries, though. Alright, we'll return to the dining room, and then, of course, we have no other choice but to leave. So we got a lot of good things there, some provisions. That's very useful because provisions... I think I can just straight up heal myself with provisions. I've never really tried it. I know you get more out of them if you rest on a bench, but maybe that's something we'll try out if I take a little bit more damage, because I just got 3 free provisions, I believe, right? We should be at, let's see, 8. Yeah, so and you start with 5. All right, so let's turn northwards this time, as there is no other choice. All right, the passageway leads into a square dungeon chamber. There are 2 doors in the eastern wall and 2 in the western wall. On the opposite side of the room, another passageway leads away north. The first door on the right is well used, and putting your ear to the keyhole, you listen and hear a man screaming for help from the inside. Before deciding what to do next, you listen at the other doors as well. From behind the second door, to the right, you hear a thumping sound on the wood. Hello? Hello? Not funny! Open the door! Okay, the first door to the left is made of solid metal. Listening at the door, you hear the sound of tortured screams coming from within. Putting your ear to the second door to the left, you hear nothing. Orc cells, but maybe they have a goblin jailer working for them. It would be worth checking these out. Alright, so I think it was the first door on the right that had the screaming, tortured screaming. Let's go there. Oh, okay. You unbolt the door and swing it open. Nauseating stench hits your nostrils. Inside the room, the floor is covered with bones, rotting vegetation, and slime. A wild-haired old man, clothed in rags, rushes at you screaming. Okay. Alright. His beard is long and gray, and he is waving an old wooden chair leg. Is he simply insane as he appears, or has it been some kind of trap? Has this been some kind of trap? All right, let's try and shot him and calm him down. I was able to do that with Alexandra, but who knows with this guy? You start to shout you are free at the top of your voice, but are swiftly cut off by a table leg to the face. All right, so yeah, this guy... so Alexandra kind of had an edge there. And you're in your disguise, the delirious old... Oh, duh. In your disguise, the delirious old man must think you are one of the orcs who has been holding him prisoner. There's no reasoning with this man and his state. Prepare for combat. Ah, see, that's clever. I like that. I really am liking this game. It's very well crafted at times. All right, so I don't actually know how this guy works, but I'm just going to go ahead and make an assumption that he's going to move here. Well, that was easy enough. You are triumphant. We took a little bit of damage to defeat the prisoner. You run the emaciated prisoner through the chest with your weapon as he rushes you. He crumbles to the filthy floor in an instant. If only you hadn't been wearing this disguise, perhaps you would have not startled the delirious man into such a desperate attack. Leave the filthy room. Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay, open the door. I actually forget the descriptions here now. We'll be thorough, though, and we'll just open them all. So we did one door on the right, so we'll do the next door on the right. All right, as you approach the door, the banging gets louder, and the bolt starts to shake. Come on, Gnurk. Let out. Waken up. Yeah, I kind of figured that there would be bad things in here, but sliding back the rusty bolt and opening the door, you come face to face with a panicked-looking goblin with a horrific creature closing in behind it. Slime beast, run! Squeaks the panic goblin and lashes out at you. The toad-like slime beast joins in on the fray, opening its wide mouth. It's full of long, spiked teeth. Fight the monsters. Alright, so we got the slime beast. I have no idea how these things attack. And I kind of assumed it would start with an attack. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try something. I'm going to do the dodge bolt here. Oh, that was dumb. Luckily, I managed to dodge out of the attack. I'm going to go ahead and meet this with an attack of my own. We're going to have a clash. I rolled the same, but I have a higher skill. Alright, so we kind of get an idea how this guy attacks. So I'm going to go ahead and move. Alright, so we know the goblin's going to move here, so I'm just going to go ahead and do my attack. You know, I should have done a right slash. That would have been the right move. Alright, I'm going to move. Alright, so he's going to move this way, more than likely. So we'll do our dodge bolt. There we go. I don't know if that was an attack or just a move. I'll just attack here, just as a precaution. Alright, so he can attack like that. That's interesting to see. Let's go ahead and do an attack. There we go, we won. Alright. Manage, I think, to avoid getting hit. Yeah, there we go. You've defeated the monsters. Initially, it looks as though there is nothing of value in the slime beast cell. However, upon a second glance, you notice a blue candle sitting in the muck. Take the blue candle. Alright. Although it is an odd piece for, an odd place for a candle, you decide to take it with you. It may come in handy in one of the darker areas of the mountain. You put it in your backpack. Alright. Orchard Screams. Let's go there. Alright, the door is not locked and opens. The room in front of you seems to be a small torture chamber with various torture devices around the walls. In the center of the room, two small hunchback goblins are having their fiendish way with a dwarf, who is tied to a hook in the ceiling by his wrists. The two hunchbacks are poking and cutting him viciously with their swords. The dwarf lets out a final scream and falls silent. Eyes closed, his captors make disappointed noises and look around angrily at you as if you were at your fault that the dwarf has collapsed. Rotgut doesn't appear to be one of these unfortunate creatures, sadly. I should press them, though, as they might know where he is. Okay, ask if they know the goblin jailer. One of the goblins sneers and spits on the floor as you mention the name Rotgut. Gark, that Rotgut fool took that dwarf boss to the river prison. Obviously, the goblin has no love for Rotgut, but it also views you suspiciously too. A river prison, eh? I've heard that this mountain may have an underground river somewhere. I need to get some directions. Press them for more information about the river prison. Sniff! Why do you need to know that, The goblins look at you suspiciously. That's actually a good question. I need to come up with a good answer or take down these creatures before they alert anyone. Alright, I want to kill Rotgut. I have another dwarf prisoner to deliver him. Ignore the question and leave. Draw your weapon. I want to kill Rotgut. Let's be just truthful. Yes, this is a good news for me, Snarkle. The goblin goes on to explain that Rotgut has his own private prison away from prying eyes on the north bank of the river that flows through the mountain. For some reason, Snarkle and Rotgut do not like each other, and you suspect that if Rotgut is gone, Snarkle thinks he may rise in the so-called goblin ranks. The goblin directs you through to somewhere called the School of Magic and suggests you make a left turn at the junction after the portcullis. It also recommends that later on you take a shortcut past the troll cave to avoid the meddling magic humans. Wow, I'm not sure if I can remember all this. So, School of Magic and suggests you to a left turn at the junction. Okay. Okay. Do I trust Snarkle and his friend to keep quiet, or shall I dispose of them? We'll leave. I mean, I might get something out of the dwarf, though. Yeah, we'll kill him. Kill him! Draw your sword and seeing the weapon, the goblins give a loud shriek as they rush forward to attack you. I mean, I could have gotten out of that situation, but I kind of want to do something with this dwarf. Maybe we'll get something out of it. All right, so we're getting attacked here. And this guy's moving. I'm going to just move. I'm assuming this guy's not going to hit me. All right, so these guys, again, they always sidestep. So I'm going to go ahead and make a guess here. There we go. Now this guy's moving. We also know this guy's moving, so let's finish him off. There we go. All right, this guy's going to attack, so I should be okay if I move here. Okay. Now he's going to move, so we'll just do a normal attack here. Okay, he's moving again. Let's attack. All right. I figured out the goblins. That's good. So they always sidestep, and it seems like they attack at diagonals, but I'm not positive on that. All right. You are triumphant. All right, defeated the goblins. You cut down the dwarf. With the last of his strength, he opens his eyes, looks at you, then looks downward. His eyes close again, and this time he breathes his last. You gently rest the dead dwarf on the floor. As you look around the room, your keen eye notices something amiss with the heel of the dwarf's boot. Examine the dwarf's boot. You decide to search the dwarf's boots. There appears to be nothing inside them, but one of them seems to be rattling. You take a closer look and inspect the heel, and you find that it comes off. Out comes a small, smooth stone. All right, take the stone. As you pick up the stone, you notice that there is a dwarven rune carved into it. You have a feeling that this will be useful and pocket it. As you have completed such a swift search of the dwarf, you still have some time before the goblins arrive. Search goblins. Bravely, you search the bodies of the two dead goblins. As you go through their pockets, you find a large piece of sweet-smelling cheese. All right, well, we might as well take the cheese. Take the cheese, you take the cheese. Who knows, it might just come in handy. You decide to leave the torture chamber before you are discovered. All right, well, that was a lot of stuff that we got there. We've got one more thing to do, so we'll go ahead and go there. All right, the door is unlocked. Opening it, you find yourself at the threshold of the orc's weapon store. A torch hangs from from one wall, lighting up a small armory room stocked with swords, shields, helmets, daggers, breastplates, and the like. Okay. A circular iron shield with a golden crescent lies at the far end of the room. However, as you do not use a shield, it is worthless to you. I actually don't know if any of the starting characters use shields, but we'll go ahead and search the room nonetheless. You poke around the room. The weapons are blunted and worthless, and the helmets are battered and rusty. You decide to inspect the breastplates on the shelves to see if there is anything worthwhile there. You examine the breastplates and the shelves thoroughly, but there appears to be nothing of value. Okay, we'll leave. All right, well, let's go ahead and leave the chamber here. Alright, exiting the dungeon, you hear the sound of water ahead of you and make out a grilled portcullis at the end of the passageway. Before you can reach the portcullis, you will have to cross a bridge that passes over a gully of gurgling brackish water. You suspect it may actually be a sewer, judging by the smell rising from it. Make your way towards the bridge. As you make your way towards the bridge, you pass a small creature which appears even uglier than the orcs you have encountered. The goblin salutes smartly. Well, as smartly as a goblin can as you pass by, and it then returns to picking its boils. All right. So we left the orc barrack in disguise and got an achievement for doing so. I wonder if we'll get our skill point back. All right. As you cross the bridge, you pass out of sight of the sentry post. Having had enough of looking and smelling like an orc, you discard your disguise. All right. It did give me my skill point back. It just didn't tell me it did that, but that's fine. You arrive at the end of the passage. An iron portcullis blocks your way, and no amount of charging is going to budge it. Okay? On the wall to your right are two levers, and it seems likely that these levers have something to do with rising the portcullis. All right, well, using your keen eye, you notice that the left lever looks misshapen compared to the right lever. And I kind of already knew that the left lever is a trap. Again, playthrough kind of plays out the same, but we'll go ahead and pull the right lever. You hear a deep rumbling noise. The ground begins to shudder. Slowly and noisily, the portcullis rises into the ceiling. With hesitation, you walk towards the junction. Listening carefully, however, you hear nothing down either corridor. That goblin said to head left after the portcullis, towards that magic school. I think I'm going to trust him. All right, this part is playing out differently, because Alexandra encountered a character that I just didn't encounter. So I really am liking the fact that playing a different character gives you a different playthrough, even if the Firetop Mountain is actually the same for the most part. That makes replayability definitely pretty high, in my opinion. I mean, obviously you have certain things that are going to repeat, but still, considering how difficult the game is, I think that's acceptable. All right, so we'll go ahead and follow the directions. It doesn't give me the choice. All right, the passage begins to widen, and you soon arrive at another junction. What to do? My gut feeling is to follow the passage west. Okay, well, I wish I could actually lower this so I could see what's in the north here. Oh, is that what this does? No, that keeps scrolling. Okay. So we can look back. Okay, well, that's going to be important for later. You know what? I'm going to go to the north just because I want to see what's there. Again, it's exploring as thoroughly as possible. All right, the passageway looks as though it's entering into a large cavern. There appears to be no way through. Huh. Okay, we'll enter the cavern anyway. All right, as you enter the cavern, you hear loud footsteps behind you. Crunching heavily on the rocky floor, you crouch down beside the entrance in a small alcove. The steps get louder, and you see a great ogre enter the cavern. Okay, so he said not to do that, huh? He stands over 2 meters tall and is dressed in ill-fitting garments made from some sort of hide, and he carries a large wooden club. Oh, ogres, such great lumbering beast. I should be able to take this one on. Okay. This gives me the opportunity to use the potion. But let's try distracting him. I'm starting to think I'm going the wrong way, for sure. And I'm tempted here to try and leave. I don't know if I want to use the potion of invisibility, but let's try and distract him by throwing something. You reach out for a nearby stone, you throw it across the cavern where it lands. With a loud clatter, the ogre looks towards the noise and goes over to investigate. Meanwhile, you creep out down the passageway and leave the cavern. Alright, that's fine. The goblin told me not to do anything with that ogre, so we're going to continue westwards. Alright. You cautiously continue down the rocky corridor and stop in front of an open portcullis entrance built into stone. The sound of clinking chains and monstrous growls can be heard. The corridor continues on to the west. Oh, okay, so now we're encountering this guy. Suddenly, a terrified young acolyte runs into you. His white rune-embroidered robes are torn and smudged with dirt. He looks at you with panic in his wide eyes. I yield! Education not worth this much danger, no matter how great the reward. Taking a moment to catch his breath, the student begins to relax. My name is Ian the White, he says. I'm a humble student seeking entry into the School of Sorcery. You learn that he gained entry, but was deemed unworthy by the elemental masters. Okay. The school must be just up here somewhere. That goblin was telling the truth after all. Okay. Ask about the school. Ask if the river is close to the school. Alright, we'll have to ask if the river is close to school, because that's kind of where we're trying to go. Although, I kind of already know that answer, so I'm almost wanting to ask about Zagor, because I've never gotten this information. But, you know what? Maybe in a further playthrough we'll do that. But, see, different quests and things, you know what? I'm going to ask about Zagor, because I want to know. You ask the young acolyte about the Warlock. He becomes frightened once more when you mention his name. Zagor, he leaves the school alone. Mostly. I hear that sometimes students just disappear as payment to him. I'm not about to find out. With that, the acolyte pushes past you, running off down the corridor to the east. You are left alone near the open portcullis. Okay, so we'll continue to go west, because that sounds like where the school is. You reach a junction where the path turns north through an archway held up by 2 pillars. A narrow passageway also runs off to the west. I'd guess that the school is more likely located through the pillars than down a narrow passage. Alright, so path towards the north. An archway. Yeah, let's go to the north. Alright. You walk down the passageway and gasp at the sight you discover. Directly in your path is a large pair of wooden doors carved to look like a menacing fanged mouth. A simple sign reads, "Speak the magic words." Alright, well, you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and put a cut at this point in the video. We'll pick up from here in the next video. So I hope you guys have enjoyed. This is Mouse Gunner, signing out.